Balancing your career aspirations with your parental responsibilities is a big topic, and that's where we jump right in. Welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us as we sit down once again with registered counsellor Shanaaz Moors and educational psychologist Dr. Sharon Aitken, who have been busy, y'all. There's a lot going on in our world, and I love the fact that we are now looking at both of these worlds, the traditional male and female roles, and how that's been all messed up, and we love it. We want to see people embracing both sides. You can be an amazing parent and successful in your career, but you need a partner. You need someone in your corner to be able to find that balance. Is one at the expense of the other? Is one enhancing the other? Maybe, Shanaaz, I could put this to you, being a very difficult question personally and professionally. Do you feel that you've ever had to sacrifice your personal ambitions, your motherhood ambitions, to focus on career? Could the two work side by side?
Graham, I've had the benefit of experiencing being both working mom and stay-at-home mom. And there are a lot of complicated emotions with both. And I think that it depends a lot on your financial setup. You know, a lot of moms would want to, you know, be at home or have a career that's flexible.
Over that period, over that early childhood phase. Yeah.
And so for me, being at home for 10 years was soul crushing, you know. It wasn't like this wonderful experience, and there's so much guilt about saying it out loud. I didn't enjoy it. It was a lot of hard...
Terrible mother, terrible mother.
Yes, it was so much hard work and very little gratitude and appreciation and all of that, because you have little ones. So for those who want to look at it, what is it that you want out of your life at this phase of your life? So that's what you're asking. Right now, I want to be with my kids, or right now I want to work on my career. There isn't either or. There's just knowing yourself and knowing authentically what is right for me now.
No. I'm so glad you put it like that, because so often this becomes the common thread through all of these kinds of conversations. We're either rooted in the fears or the judgment of the past, and that keeps us there, thinking that we're looking back over the 10 years. That doesn't exist. You're looking forward, the fear of what you're going to mess up, and then it takes you out of the moment, and you're not actually answering what's being asked of you right now, which is as much about you as it is about your kids. So how do we bring ourselves into that moment with our partner? How do we establish and deal with those sorts of guilt, those feelings? How do we process that ourselves when making this big decision?
Guilt itself? Well, the guilt itself, I think I would go a step back and say, if you've done your prep, you will minimize the feelings of guilt. So if you've actually thought about it as a couple, when is the right time to have children? How are we going to manage it? Who's going to take on what role at which developmental stage?
For sure.
How are we going to bring people in? Then you know you've done the work ahead of time and you prepped and you're ready. It doesn't mean to say
any part of this
yeah, it doesn't mean to say you're not going to get thrown a curveball somewhere along the line. Something's going to go wrong, but at least you've done the pre-thinking and you know the age and all that kind of stuff that you want to have children at. But how do you deal with the guilt itself? I think there are so many people now who are full-time parents and full-time workers, if you know what I mean. So there's people you can access in your community. You can go online and see social media. You can find people who've made the same decisions as yourself as role models, and you can see how they've done it and what would work for you and what you need to do differently. So I think taking very proactive steps to see how else people have done things would help to minimize the guilt. But if the guilt is overriding, then counselling or therapy would be a good idea.
Because chances are it's an emotional anchor in your own past or your own life that's got nothing to do with your current current situation. A lot of this is saying we've got to check judgment at the door, because a lot of this seems to stem from how we look at ourselves, how we judge our partners, judge our own performance within the family model. There is no right or wrong way. There is no one size fits all. We get that. The right way is what works for you right now. COVID obviously started out with my first week of paternity leave, and I thought I'd be back 2 weeks after that, and that became 7, 8 months. So it was a very different scenario for me, but it gave me a lot of time to think about what that role needs to be as a dad, as a mom, and I will be forever grateful that I got that. I got that time with my child, and there was a whole pain management element wrapped up into that as well, which the love was stronger than literally Schedule 6 kind of opioid. So I feel like men are missing out on an opportunity to grow themselves emotionally, maybe address all of their deeper issues. To paint a positive picture for men to step into that role, I'm going to ask you to think about that for just a second, the positives of making that shift when it comes to those gender roles. We're going to wrap up our discussion around the shift in gender roles, looking at paternity and maternity leave specifically after this. Ooh.